sound ever, ever, ever. Lenny never stops making sound. Good morning, everybody. I hear you
Welcome
breathing.
aboard. That's how you do it. It's welcome aboard. What is this good morning crap?
Why do you have
Welcome aboard.
why do you have to breathe into the microphone like a predator?
I'm not a predator. Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard on a lovely Sunday morning. It is the legend. It is, no, wait a second. The legend and the Roto Lady. Now, they
Right,
can't say that we copied the title because you're the Roto Lady and I'm the legend, right? First
right,
of all, how's the sound in the chat room? That's what we want to know. Want to make
right.
sure that this nonsense can be heard. So, somebody, Malpal, Daniel Ferrara, Eddie Heckman, let us know how is the sound. Oh, sound is good. Eddie Heckman, the chairman of the board.
Does
Eddie
it
Heckman.
do we
That's
sound
right.
like are we even levels for
Yeah.
sound? We're still trying to
Yeah.
figure out the
Okay.
sound
By
BS.
the way, Eddie Heckman was honored last night by the Baltimore Orioles in their Hall of Fame ceremony. Many of you probably didn't realize that Eddie Heckman was one of the people that was being honored, but he certainly was. And that was terrific to see that. Okay, so let's get on with it. I think in this crazy baseball season, well, first of all, Andrea, did you miss me? Last week, Andrea didn't want to do the show with me.
Oh, you
All right.
lie. You lie.
That's
No,
no, she didn't.
that's a
We
lie.
we are the first co-hosts in the history of radio where they both admit that they didn't want to do the show with each other yesterday. All
No, no,
right.
no. So you decided because you told me on Sunday morning, you said, I'm going to do the show by myself today.
Yeah.
And I said,
All right.
okay.
That's
But
not really how it went.
that's what,
Okay.
well, okay. Well, however it went, you had a
Such
lot to
as
talk
life.
about. I
Okay.
didn't really like you that much last week. So it was
Well,
fine. And, you know,
morning to Colombo, Daniel Ferrara, Dogman is here, Douglas Boyle, Eddie Heckman, James Caprion. You got Mal
Caprellian.
Caprellian,
Isn't there a
Malpal
picture? There's a picture.
is a pitcher. Mitchell Horston. Wait a second. Hold everything. Tony Sincata in the chat room under his real
Tony
name.
C.
Tony C, the late and great, not the late and great, the great Tony Sincata in the chat room under his own recognizance.
Wait,
And there you go.
we better
How
tell him how
about
to
that?
get the sound. I don't know if he knows how to get sound.
All right, tell Tony how to
Tony
get sound.
C, it's on the video.
Okay, you go up to the video in the upper right, hit the sound. Okay. Uh,
Tony C.
okay.
Tony C.
Anyway, so the current division leaders in the National League are Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and San Francisco, right?
Right.
What's the thing that they all have in common? Come on, I'm not going to give you a lot of time. You should.
Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and San Francisco. They're
Cisco, yeah. What? They're all what? National League? Don't give me that
yeah, I
crap.
mean, obviously they're
No, what do
National
they
League.
have in common from last year? From
They're
last
better.
year.
They're better.
Last year they all finished below 500.
Oh, really?
They all finished below 500 last year. How about that one? And
Okay.
they're all and by the way, uh, Malpal asked the question. I put up a poll on video. Okay.
What?
Uh, yeah. On Twitter, I put up a poll on Twitter. Who wins the National League Cy Young? You can scroll up and get the partial results. It's only been up there for about an hour. Jake DeGrom, Zach Wheeler, Walker Bueller, and Brandon Woodruff. And Malpal wants to know why Gausman is not in the conversation. Well, here's the main reason. You only have four choices that they give you, okay? And the second thing is I left Gausman out only because right now with Gausman on the injured list, whatever
No,
he's
no,
on,
no, no. Hello, his wife
eh,
is having a baby,
yeah.
so
So
he's not hurt.
a simple thing like that would sway people's minds. So I kept Gausman out, but
Okay, first of all, you
yeah,
cannot fall trap into that BS because this
what
guy's
BS?
is having a kid. So give him a break. It's only
I'm
going to
giving him
be
a break. And I'm
no, you're
rooting for
not.
Gausman. 3 years ago on the ridiculous Roto Bowler show, I predicted that Gausman would win the Cy Young Award
no.
with the ball. Yeah, that's right. They asked me for a bold prediction. I gave it. And if Gausman wins the Cy Young Award, let me tell you something. You got to listen to the Roto Bowler show. I'm calling in and I'm taking over. It's going to be a hostile takeover. Right?
Okay, this is so funny what Tony C found. I got to interrupt you. All right.
I've seen it with Corey Parsons, my battle with Corey. Yeah.
I just find it pretty interesting. There's 17 comments on here, dude. And
Yeah.
did you read all the comments?
No, I didn't read any of them yet. No.
So Parson is pissed that Melnick's wife was allowed into Tout, and apparently Lenny has helped Corey out in the past with getting agents, finding work, and etc. So Lenny didn't like being called out on the air about his wife. Then Corey said something.
Who's his wife, by the way?
That would be me.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Corey said something along the lines of not drafting his own Tout Wars team, which infuriated Lenny, and he tweeted all the guys in Tout letting them know. So Ron Chandler told Lenny to basically not air dirty laundry out in public and to shut up. So it's probably going to die soon. But go through their tweets and replies, and they're both very pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, and Corey hung up on Lenny yesterday. I don't know who that is.
Well, I called his show. And he welcomed me. He answered the phone. You know, they took a call, and I ripped the hell out of him where they had to delete the whole show. Okay. I absolutely ripped them, and they deleted that segment, which turned out to be a lot because they didn't know how to deal with it. And anyway, that was interesting. We are friends now. Corey, by the way, has moved to the great state of South Carolina. So here he is living in New York. We haven't talked very much in all the years. When I told him we were looking at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, he says, when you come down here, look me up. We'll get together. But we can't do it in New York. We got to do it in South Carolina. Okay. All right, let's get on to baseball. That's what people come here for.
This is so fun. This is from 2000 and I guess 2019 or 18.
Yep, that's right.
That was when Corey Parsons said that I got into Tout Wars because of you, right? Which kind of, I mean, it's not kind of true. It pretty much is true. There's really no other explanation for me getting into Tout Wars because this wasn't like the social justice ladies world that it is now for women.
Yeah, you were the first female in Tout Wars. And you know something? Let me tell you a question. I did not get you into Tout. I did not recommend you. I did not suggest you. I did not push for you.
Yes, but if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be around to make friends with these people.
That's right. And if it wasn't for you, I'd be horny. All right. Anyway.
Great. Blame it on me.
Yeah, blame it on. All right, blame it on you.
Okay. Anyway.
You know that Joey Gallo.
What?
Was faster to hit 100 home runs than he was to get 100 singles.
I'm not surprised.
I heard that on MLB this morning. So
well, that's like how he's been going for the last 5 or 6 years. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Good morning. Fans love Gallo, right? Gallo is their fan favorite.
Yep, that's right. Good morning to Anthony Miller. Good morning to Captain 15, Chris Gallo, Colombo. Doug Boyle is here. Jay Stubbs is here. Wow, Southpaw. We got a capacity crowd. Okay.
So this guy says Corey Parson is a terrible expert and analyst. I don't know how he got where he is. I'm sure he's won tournaments and new stuff back in the day, but right now to me he's a joke. So here's the thing about what Corey said, because we ran into each other then after that comment. We met up at the bar at Tout Wars and I talked to him. You know, I just went right up to him and I'm like, so, you know, because he has an edge too, because he's colored, dude, and that's the way it is. So I said, you got in because you're black, dude. I got in because I'm a woman. So, you know, we joked around and whatever. And Corey's a fun guy, and you know, he was just pretty much just talking shit because he likes to talk shit on air because that's what people like to listen to. I mean, obviously they were talking about 17 comments worth here. Anyways, I'm moving on. So
pretty good. All right. Are you ready? We prepared for this show. Let's do it. I don't prepare for Corey Parson. I don't prepare for him. He prepares for me.
Remember Trucker Rob? He used to call in daily. That's what Mitchell Hartson says. And Tony remembers Trucker Rob too.
Yeah, the great. I still speak to his wife. Okay. Anyway, it looks now that what you wanted. keep talking about Corey Parson?
No, I'm done with that. I'm good.
We already wasted 15
Yeah, we need
minutes.
a transgender in Tout Wars now. We're not diverse enough, you know.
Okay, we're not diverse. All right, stop that. Let's
The
not get
fantasy
political.
industry is whack. Okay.
Looks like
So-
the Starling Marte acquisition by the Oakland A's looks pretty good now, with Ramon Laureano suspended for 80 games. All right. And he
Okay.
issued a statement. Now, what do you think of this? He issued a statement claiming he did not knowingly ingest nandrolone, whatever that
That
is.
is the
Okay.
first mistake. You just don't say
Okay.
anything. How about that? Don't say anything because you're going to perjure yourself.
Yeah.
You know he's lying. There isn't a player on the planet that ingests something and they don't know what it is, and it just happens to be a steroid, right? Just
Yep.
happens to be. Okay, sure it was.
When
Anyway.
will tout laws allow a by the way, with Tony in the chat room,
I know, I love it. Tony C.
here's the deal, okay? The deal is that I was on the phone with Tony Sincata, who told me that somebody called him on the air and asked why the Tout Wars and Labor Group do not have any minorities and any blacks. And
Right.
then 2 days later, Corey Parson was put in. And I called up Peter Kreitzer and asked him off the record, is that the reason? And he denied it. So,
You know, being a woman, and I just want to make this point, being a woman and getting into something because you're a woman does not make the woman feel great. It would make her feel better if she thought she was actually getting invited because she's good or she's smart or she's been around for long enough and she's earned her way. I don't want to be in something just because I'm a woman. People of color don't want to be invited to something just because they're people of color. It's almost like offensive instead of what the goal is, which is to try to make it more inclusive and stuff like that. But people feel good when they work for something, and that's what it needs to really be, is that you hire somebody based on how good they are at their job or their experience or the most qualified person. And like the color of your skin or your sex shouldn't really have much to do with it, right?
that's right. What has to do with it? Tony Sincata makes a good point. He says the Laureano and the Cuomo situation means that America is coming after the Italians.
Oh,
right?
yes,
that's right. America's coming out. By the way, in New York, they changed the name of the Tappan Zee Bridge to the Mario Cuomo Bridge. I think they just turned it back to the Tappan Zee Bridge. Back to baseball.
But that's his dad, and his dad didn't do any of this stuff.
He
right?
didn't do
Why
any
do we
of stuff,
blame him for?
Because he made the change of the bridge name.
Well,
the Astros, Houston. Will you be quiet while I talk for a second?
Yes.
The Astros' next game against the team currently in the playoffs is a month away. The Astros are in real great shape. They have a 3-game series against San Diego at the beginning of September, and that's their only such series in the next 50 days. The Astros have the easiest remaining schedule of any American League team. How's that?
I wasn't listening to you because I'm paying attention to chat room. So just keep on talking.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah.
And it's the 9th time in franchise history for the San Francisco Giants.
I love them.
That they have been in first place in Major League Baseball to 70 wins. Okay. Unbelievable. 9th time they're in first place with 70 wins.
Yeah,
the
but
Giants
they used to have guys like Lincecum and like Bumgarner and these types of things, and now they don't really have any real star players on their team right now.
Well, no, they don't. But Brandon Belt comes around and hits a couple of home runs.
Yes, and yesterday they came around. They were behind. That was the second time this week that they've like had miraculous wins. They just have grit. You know that grit is a good word. It's a compliment.
Unless it's in your teeth, like I tell you all the time.
Or your toes, right?
Yeah, that's right. By the way, Crystal Ball will be joining us in just a little bit.
Crystal Ball is bitchy.
The Crystal Ball is it. Jay Trella is here. Good morning, Jay.
No, I'm
Jeff. That's Jeff. The Giants, 70-41, 111 games played, are their fewest ever to reach 70 wins in a season since 1993, when they won their 70th game. It was 100. It took them 105 games to do it. How about that?
Chris Sale is about ready to be
Wow.
activated. Chris
Look,
Sale
that's
finished
right.
yesterday in his rehab with 4 2/3 innings, 89 pitches though, 58 of them were strikes. He allowed no runs, 2 hits, 3 walks. He struck out 8. It's time for Chris Sale to show up in Boston for fantasy managers. But guess what? I highly doubt he's going to be enough to save this team. They are absolutely showing that they are not going to be able to make it. They don't have
Well,
it, dude.
well, we will
Look what they're rolling with for pitchers. Look at what they're rolling with.
we'll ask Crystal Ball how she feels about that. In Chris Sale's 5 rehab starts,
Oh, he's
I
sitting
believe, yeah, he pitched what, 20 innings, got a 1.35 ERA. But here's the big thing:
35
he
strikeouts.
35 strikeouts and only 5 walks.
So
Right?
listen, Douglas says that he sees him as a probable pitcher starting next week. So I mean, we pretty much know after yesterday that he is now up to 89 pitches. He's stretched out. Every time that he's taken a start in rehab, he gets more stretched out. He's ready. There's no step next besides
Jimmy,
we need
yep.
you in Boston because we have Eovaldi as our best, most reliable pitcher, and that's really Martin Perez got moved to the bullpen. He's not pitching in the rotation anymore.
He's not any good. Jimmy Key, not Jimmy Key. Oh yeah, no, yeah. I'm sorry.
What the hell are you
I'm
doing?
fumbling. Somebody in the chat room I wanted to say hello to.
Okay, well, you just keep saying hi to people, and I'll just keep talking about baseball.
Jimmy K, Chris Gallo. And what about the Braves? Looks like they're getting another pitcher back. You know how to pronounce his name, right?
Huascar.
Me, Oscar. Oscar Noah. He's stretched out now, and the Braves manager said that after one more rehab start, he will be at the point where he's ready to go.
Okay, first of all, he only threw 3 2/3. I don't know what he's like an opener / starting pitcher, and I don't know if he's going to be able to go deep enough into games to get wins. But they did say that he's going to throw 85 pitches in his next rehab, and then we'll see what happens. But I'm not really looking forward to this unless I have him sitting on the injured spot.
Okay, Jeff Trella, go up to the upper right, and you'll get audio in the
video.
In the video, okay, it's on the video. All right, go
he
click.
Can't hear you right now, so.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's on the video. That's right. So anyway, it looks like but they say that he's going to go 85 pitches in his next start in AAA. That's what they say about Oscar Noah.
Big deal. Well, if he only gets through 3 2/3, it's still useless for me because I need 5 to get any kind of love for fantasy. What about your new favorite pitcher? Lenny has a new favorite pitcher, and he's a Philly, right?
Mauricio Lovero. How do you pronounce his name? Lovero.
I don't know. It might be Yovero because 2 L's are silent.
Right. That's like that pitcher who I've been calling him Gin. His real name is Yin. But anyway, he is the first pitcher.
Hold on. Yeah. One of the comments in the Reddit thread that Tony Sincata sent us today, it said neither one of them know how to pronounce players' names.
Oh yeah, well,
talking about you and your boy Corey Parsons.
That's for sure.
Oh, Hoots did score a real nice job, by the way, and did score a real nice job based on
in what
he's working for Sports Illustrated or.
Not anymore.
Forbes or one of these. He's working for one of these.
Oh, really?
So yeah, he's doing video.
I heard he was working for the Weekly Reader.
I used to read that in school.
In what grade?
And from kindergarten till
he's working for the Weekly Reader.
He's in the mail.
He's now the centerfold for the Weekly Reader.
No, he's not. He actually has a good job now.
No, he's a good guy. All right.
Thanks for his knowledge. And all his knowledge.
Jeff Trella got sound. Thank you, Jeff.
Good job. Now let's move on, please. I don't want to talk about this guy, he's the second pitcher in the modern era, which is since 1900 to do what?
To face 3 hitters, and they all hit home runs. He faced more, but his first 3 hitters hit home runs.
He allowed 3 home runs in the first 3 hitters. Then he walked 3 and struck out 3. And then he was out of the game.
Pretty good. Now, getting back to the poll that I put up on Twitter, Jake DeGrom not getting the support, but he's 18-1. Do you think that Jake DeGrom at 18-1 is worth going after?
No, I do not. I would not bet money on Jacob deGrom to do anything for the rest of the season. And I wouldn't bet on Tatis either. Those are my two. I
Mhm.
told you to sell them immediately. They were both injury risks about a month ago.
And here's an update. After about 100 votes, we only had it up for about an hour. Woodruff leads with 33%. Bueller
Who's
is
the
second.
choices?
You got DeGrom, Wheeler, Bueller, and Woodruff. Would you have put anybody else in there? If you only had to list four,
I don't
those
know.
are
I
my
didn't
top
think
four.
about this, but I'm going to think of somebody throughout this show that's better than those.
Well, I wouldn't put Gausman in there. I wouldn't
I
put
do.
ahead of Wheeler, ahead of Bueller, ahead
Luis
of Woodruff.
Castillo. He's been great.
What about Corbin Burns? He may have
He's
been
been great.
somebody, but I can only
Yeah.
put four. And the
Okay.
guy I put in, Woodruff, who you want to replace with everybody, has the most votes.
How about Wheeler? Wheeler deserves
I
some
have
love.
Wheeler.
Oh,
I have Woodruff at 33%, Bueller at 29%, Wheeler at 24%, and DeGrom at 15%. I put DeGrom in there just to see if anybody would be, look, with the great season he was having. I'm going to ask Crystal Ball, will Jake DeGrom return to Major League Baseball this year?
she's
That's
gonna
what
tell
I'm
you
going to
no.
ask. Tell us no. Okay, maybe.
Well, maybe not. I don't know.
By the way, if you're listening on iTunes, Looney Tunes, Cartoons, if you're listening on Facebook or anything else, come to the chat room. Lenny Melnick Fantasy Baseball, FantasySports.com. Come to the chat room. The link is around. You'll see it. And come into the chat room, meet some of the greatest chat room people
I
of all time.
know we are forgetting somebody in the pitching realm of the National League. We are forgetting somebody.
Who
that's
we
really good.
forgetting? Who we
I
forgetting?
don't know right now, but I'm going to remember before the show is over. Anyways, let's talk about the Yankees. The two best teams in baseball right now are the Phillies, and they have problems though coming up, and the Yankees. The Yankees and the Phillies, the two most winning teams at the moment. So both of them made moves at the deadline. Both teams barely hanging on to a shot at a wild card spot heading into the All-Star break. Both teams said, no, we're not quitting. You got to love that for these teams' fans. But now you're dealing with in the Mets. Look, the only team, this is interesting, the only team in the National League East that has a positive run differential. Who do you think it is?
It's the Mets.
No, it isn't.
It's the Phillies.
Nope.
It's the Marlins.
No.
Who is it?
The Atlanta Braves. They're the only team in the National League East with a positive run differential. Right now, they're 6.5 games back from a wild card. I believe that there's only one team from the National League East going to the playoffs. The rest of the wild cards are coming from somewhere else because these, whoever wins is the only team, dude, that's going in that division.
Interesting how opinions have changed in just a little over a week. As per Fangraphs,
what about Cincinnati?
We're talking National League East.
Oh, well,
okay?
I'm talking National League. Yeah.
Okay. Now, one thing at a time. Come on, Roto Lady, will you start paying attention?
We can multitask.
July 29th, the Mets had a 75% chance, according to Fangraphs. They now, August 7th, have a 35% chance. The Phillies had a 20% chance July 29th. They're up to 41%. And the Braves, who finally got over 500, had a 10% chance on July 29th. They now have a 30% chance. So pretty interesting.
So what do we do? What are we using here to tell this at Fangraphs? They use a lot of different situations here.
I
Beamer
have no
and
idea.
Zips, and they have
Zips. You know what I have? I pay attention every day.
Ooh.
I don't need Zips and Puma and whatever. I don't need.
You're the one reciting it, so you should know what you're talking about.
Robert G has joined us. Good morning to Robert G.
Lenny, you can get away
freaking Lenny. You know, it's the first time since May 7th that the Mets were not in first place, and the Phillies have won 7 straight games, the longest winning streak in 9 years. How about that one?
Very good.
That's pretty good.
They have problems, though. You know, they're about to run into some big problems. They got horrible matchups coming up this next week.
Yeah.
They got other problems too that I can't think of at the moment. But when we go through the notes for the game, I'll be able to remember it because I can't keep all this information in my head all the time.
Rudy Gamble is the Razzball guy.
Now, let me tell you one other thing.
Wow, you're going to tell me something? What are you
gonna-
going to tell me something
Never
that I
mind.
don't know?
Never
Go ahead.
mind. No,
Go ahead.
it's
No, I
okay.
want to hear it. I want to hear it.
I was just gonna say that Toronto's gonna win the American League East. Toronto.
Well, okay.
You want to know how I know this?
How do you know this?
Because they have the best team. Plus, they
I
got
don't-
Jose Barrios, who's awesome. And I'm telling you, Jose Barrios, if you have him on your team, he's like finding a pearl deep in the ocean. And he's a pearl right now. He's a
He's
pearl.
like finding a pearl
Yeah.
deep in the
He's a
ocean.
pearl in an oyster shell, dude.
He's a pearl in
Yeah.
an oyster shell.
Okay.
Okay.
He's a pearl.
All right. If that's what you're saying.
The Toronto
Okay.
Blue Jays have the highest run differential above everybody.
What about Earl the Pearl? You ever hear of him? You ever hear who's Earl the Pearl? Anybody in the chat
You're
room know
wasting time talking about nothing.
who is
So,
Earl the Pearl? Anybody want to give that one a chance? Okay. Continuing with what I was talking about before I was interrupted, Bryce Harper hit a 442-foot home run, the longest home run allowed by Edwin Diaz in his career. And it was interesting
please.
because so Diaz throws the pitch, Harper destroys it, and Diaz points his finger up in the air as if to say it's a fly ball.
How far did he hit it?
He hit it 442 feet. That
Okay.
was, I mean, yeah, it was a fly ball. That's right. Earl the Pearl Monroe. A couple of guys get that in the chat room.
So Bryce Harper is having a great season. Okay, overall, well, he's having a good, decent season overall. I mean, his batting average is higher than expected. Was to be expected. His
Right.
stolen base count is still up there, even at age 28. He's not slowing down on the stolen bases. His home runs now, just in the last couple weeks. I mean, the last 2 weeks he's got 4 home runs. He's batting .395. So the question of the day is, will Bryce Harper be the MVP? And I would say that depends on whether or not the Phillies make it to the playoffs, because if they don't win that division, they're not making the playoffs. That's all there is to it. That's my outlook on it. That's my projection.
Tony
my
says,
scandal.
Tony asked how much weed Diaz was smoking. Pretty funny. So, Fernando Tatis is still the favorite to win the MVP in the National League. You know who's second right now? Second favorite?
In the National League, the MVP.
National League. MVP. Second favorite.
Harper. No.
It was, right now, it's Max Muncy.
Oh.
These will be updated. Trey
According
Turner.
to who? Who gets to decide this? Favorite of who? John Heyman?
According to BetMGM. This was on Thursday.
So it's based on how many bets there are, though.
Well, that's the favorite.
Well, that doesn't mean.
How else could you be a favorite unless you have odds?
Well, because in baseball, when you're not choosing the actual MVP based on odds, you're actually choosing the MVP based on performance. I mean, I would
that's
assume.
What the Tatis is first. Max Muncy is second.
Well, Tatis is going down.
Trey Turner was third. Freddie Freeman fourth. Harper was fifth.
So Freddie Freeman is out right now with respiratory illness.
Yep. But I'll tell you what, Muncy's the interesting one.
Muncy.
He's having a nice year. Yeah. His wins above replacement were close to 5, putting him just behind Tatis, who's a little bit more. Okay. So, look, Freeman would be a great pick, too. If Atlanta wins it, you think Freddie Freeman wins the MVP? Okay?
I don't know what's wrong with him right now, but he sure made up for a really horrible start. And I got to say, in Max Muncy's defense, he plays multiple positions. So, I mean, Tatis doesn't even play shortstop that good. He does hit well, but, he's not the greatest defensive guy. And I got to say, the shoulder thing, dude, is a problem. So, anyway, if I was a betting man, or if I was a betting, my pronouns are her and he and she. So, if I was a betting woman, woman, human being. Anyway, I'm just trying to make jokes.
But here's
I'm not that funny when I try to make jokes.
No, you're not funny. Fernando Tatis says, and I quote, he says he's feeling better, making progress, and the Padres remain hopeful he'll be returning at some point this season. That's what they say. They say he continues to progress, and he should be back fairly soon.
Okay, first of all, they're not even going to test him again until after 10 days. So he's not coming back the first day that he's allowed. That's given. He even admitted that, even though he thinks that of course, he wants to come back immediately, but he did admit that this time his shoulder subluxation was worse. Sublax, whatever.
Yeah.
It pops out of place
X-Lax.
halfway.
Hmm.
It pops out every time he does it. He runs the risk of it popping out more and more. He's going to need off-season surgery regardless to fix it
Right.
because it's not going to heal on its own. So the more they keep continuing to put him out there, the more risk that he's not going to be ready for next season. So if the Padres in the next week or so start losing games and they can't hang, I don't see him coming back with the quickness. If they can hang, then they'll probably try to bring him back because who wouldn't, right? I mean,
Well, I will tell you, Malpal comes up with a great name. Now, if Cincinnati wins the division, and what they are about 7 games behind Milwaukee, you got Castellanos, but Jesse Winker is having such a fantastic season. All right,
yeah, he's
such
having
a
a good season. Cincinnati's having a good season right
that's
now.
right.
They're
I
coming
think
out of nowhere.
so. The MVPs will be decided by really, I guess, by who wins the pennant. All right, you
So
agree?
let me tell you about what Mike Moustakas does to a team. Okay,
Go ahead.
Mike Moustakas. The return of Mike Moustakas. I don't know if it's true, but it seems coincidental maybe that the Cincinnati Reds just start winning games as soon as as soon as the Moustakas is getting ready to come back, and he hits like 3 doubles the first day he comes back. Thank
Yep.
goodness, because this
Okay.
fool has been useless for me in fantasy. Useless so far. Now he's
Okay.
making up for it.
Now he's
Sitting on
making
my
up for
bench right now because in the league that I have him in, you can't make moves until Monday. So let's move on. Okay,
one of the
you're
one of the
taking too much
things
time.
about one of the too much time for what?
You're taking too much time.
I'm listening to you. God forbid, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. One of the things that the lady and the legend talk about during the week when we're off the air is what the hell? So many players who are kind of marginal, value, were not offered, were not traded. And I asked the question, and I was wrong. I asked the question, well, why didn't they just trade him for anybody? Because they're not going to give him a qualifying offer of 18 million.
Jonathan Scope.
Jonathan Scope was the key guy. He was the one who brought this all to me, and now we find out why he wasn't traded because they were able to extend him, right?
Okay, Jonathan Scope, didn't he already play for the Tigers? Then he went somewhere else, and then he came back. They signed him again. Now they signed him to an extension. They must really like him.
Oh,
but he's kind of like CJ Cron. They haven't been able to really find any kind of long-term home, but they're definitely valuable in fantasy, because of the reason that they're cheap and they're free most of the time. So,
right.
That's that. But yeah, the Tigers signed him for 2 years with an opt-out after 2022. They're paying him $15 million. So
right.
He gets 7.5 each year, and he gets to opt out if he wants. But who the hell? He's not going to opt out.
Now, Trey Turner's interesting too. I'm not too sure what he can do as far as MVP, but he does have a chance.
Are you kidding?
He has a chance.
Why do you think he can't? Like, what do you mean you don't know what he can do? You know exactly what he can do.
But I don't know with being on the Dodgers with Muncy and so many others.
Doesn't matter. He's batting leadoff. It's really helpful for him because now he's got behind him players that can drive him in. He's absolutely in the
Do you know that no player has ever won an MVP in a season where he played for multiple teams? Now that surprised me. I was absolutely not aware of that.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yep. No player.
It's really based on where the team ends up. And I don't know for sure that it should be. I think there's a difference of opinion there. But, it comes down to, did you get your team to the playoffs, right?
Yep,
so,
that's right.
Turner is batting at the top of the order. That's his spot immediately upon return from COVID.
Right. And by the way, you mentioned Scope. He was a player for the Orioles for a number of years. That's the team. He didn't play for Detroit before that.
Oh, he didn't? Okay.
No. And, we talked about...
Detroit and the Orioles are the same team.
Same team.
Just kidding.
It's like, as Tony puts
kidding.
in, Jonathan Scope is
the
Saints. He's Dan Ugla. Right?
He's Paul DeJong.
He's Dan Ugla. That's better.
So now, moving on.
We talked about the Reds.
They're going to win, dude. They're going to win.
The Reds and the Pirates play each other 11 times.
That's why.
11 more times.
I know.
Okay.
That's why they're going to win.
Unbelievable. And in a in their 10-0 win the other day, they outscored Pittsburgh 68-21 in 8 games this season.
They love to
Unbelievable.
play Pittsburgh.
Unbelievable.
They get to play them 11 more times. They
Right?
are going to catch the Milwaukee Brewers if the Brewers are not careful, but they do have a really good lead. I would say that I'm going to make my bet on Cincinnati. I wonder what the odds are for Cincinnati to make the playoffs.
That's going to be a good bet. Now, what's
Tony
your
P, check it out. Let me know.
okay? The odds on Cincinnati to win the
No, to make the
National
play-
League Central and or make the play.
No, I
Let's
just
say
wanna-
win the
Yeah, I'm
Central.
not trying to bet on them to win the Central.
Okay. Now,
Anyway, Bellinger's up. We're talking about him. With,
yeah, we talked about him a couple of days ago. We put a poll. Most people would pay $10 to $15 on Cody Bellinger next year. Okay, and Dave Roberts now says, as so many of us have been waiting for Cody Bellinger, he's going to start against right-handers only.
Oh my!
Hoping his mechanics improve. He was hitting just when the last I looked close to 170 with 5 home runs, 21 RBI, at a 260 something on base percentage. Unbelievable. So do you think it's all because he's injured and just trying to play through it? Do you think that's it? Or do you think Cody Bellinger is just not as good as he was? Had a couple of great, had a great season and made a name, and that's it. Which one do you think?
Well, this is what I think. I think that looking at his history, okay, I thought maybe Bellinger got figured out, but he was good for 3 seasons, pretty good for 3 seasons. Like he was good for power at least and stolen bases. So the 305 batting average that he had in 2019, I think that was the outlier, okay? I do think that he is not a 305 hitter. So after he batted 305, then we all expected him to bat 300 again, which he didn't. Last year he batted 240. Now he's batting 170. And his home run to fly ball ratio is out of control. It's like half of what it used to be. So what's the problem here? Because he still has the exit velocity. He still has a high max exit velocity, but he's been figured out. His strikeout rate is way too high, and it is not getting better. It's actually worse than it was last year. And I'm just saying, I wouldn't bet I would not pay for Bellinger on my team at all.
Okay. Now let me just say this to you. In the American League, I looked the other day. Here's what I wanted to say. I'm going to ask the chat room. I'm trying to, the Atlantic League, they're experimenting by moving the pitcher's mound back a little bit.
That's true.
Yeah, but I can't find any numbers on what that change is doing. The only thing that I did see briefly was that in a 4-game series, there are like 70 runs scored. So does anybody have? They could put up a link as to what the
it's 1 foot in the minors, a major change as the Atlantic League.
Right, but do you have any numbers?
1 foot.
That's not what I'm talking about.
12 inches.
That's not what I'm talking about. What's been the results? Has it helped the offense?
I don't.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't like you right now.
Well, then that's the reason you didn't do a show with me last week.
Well, how about this? Let me look at tools, and then I will narrow it down to the past month to see if we have any updates. So let's see.
I couldn't find anything this morning. What I did find in the American League.
Okay, here it is.
I'll hold it. Only 16 batters are hitting 280 or better. Okay. Go ahead.
So it says that today's scores in the Atlantic League with the new 61 feet 6 inches mound distance. Were 22.25 runs per game for 4 games. Today's score. Okay.
What?
11.25 runs per game.
Oh, 11, not 22.
1.5 runs below normal for the season. How much extra time a batter has to see it? Let's say a 97-mile-an-hour fastball by moving the mound back 12 inches.
So, in other words, it doesn't mean a pot of beans, right?
I'm still looking.
All right, you take a look. Seattle, your team, the Mariners, who you predicted would be a contender, and you were absolutely right. They have scored 3 runs or less 4 times in the last 6 games since the trading deadline, despite adding this Toro kid. And in the 2 games they did score more than 3 runs. One of them was 4. So they're now 4-10 in games they've scored 2 runs this season. Unbelievable, right? I saw something about Greg Maddux the other day as we just go back in time. Greg Maddux faced over 20,000 batters during his career. Only 310 saw a 3-0 count, and 177 of those were intentional walks. I just had to come up with that because that's just hard to believe, right?
So I'm going back to this pitching mound that you brought up, by the way. So the goal of the pushing the mound back, is it really about creating more offense, or is it about reducing strikeouts? Because we're not going to be able to tell much in a season that they decided to go hard on the sticky stuff. All of a sudden, the minor leaguers are just like the major league pitchers. They can't use sticky substances all of a sudden. So I don't think we're really going to be able to get a good read on how much it affects the minor leagues because of that. Because in the middle of the season, they just stopped with the sticky stuff. You can't use it anymore. These youngsters are probably not that adaptable since they were, they admit in the minor leagues that they were using it every day, whatever it takes to get to the majors. That's what they're doing. So anyways, it's hard to tell. We won't really have an answer, but I don't know. So the point of moving the mound back, I mean, Theo's coming up with all of these ideas. So, I mean, I like Theo. So, I try to be open-minded about the new things that they're trying in the minors. But if we could just do the basic stuff, like, the whole sticky substances, quit changing the ball all the time. Those 2 things in themselves might actually make baseball more fun to watch, right? Instead of trying all these wackadoo stuff, like the pitcher's mound is now a foot back. And also you can't try to get somebody out by throwing to first if they're leading off too much more than 3 times or you get balked. And that's about how if I was a runner, I would constantly make the pitcher throw over there. And then after 3 tries, I would be like, nah. I'm running.
That's pretty good singing. Crystal Ball coming up in just a few minutes, so hang in there.
Okay, let's move on. Are we going to talk about the games?
Let's move on. No, we're not going to talk about the games right now.
I hate this. It's no fun.
It's no fun, all right?
No. Everybody that goes to the Mets stinks. Javi Baez is 5 for 29 with 12 strikeouts now because he went to the Mets. And the Mets, Conforto hit a home run yesterday, but he's a loser for sure.
That's right. You know what interests me? Brad Miller. Nobody ever talks about that. He's got 15 multi-homer games in his career. That's a bit of a surprise.
What's his batting average? 209?
No, it's just not great. Also, keep in mind, for the future, next year I'm drafting Michael Fulmer. Tell you that right now.
What, a closer?
No, he's been throwing 94-mile-per-hour sliders. And I'll tell you what, I've talked to a couple of people who were at the game. Unbelievable.
Okay, he is a closer now, so that's good.
Well, no, he's not a closer. He will be a starter.
No, he won't, Lenny.
They used him as a closer. They didn't, but they want him as a starter.
He sucks as a starter. That's why he went to the bullpen in the first place.
But now
he's good as a bullpen guy.
Now he's throwing 94-mile-an-hour sliders. They want him as a starter. Okay,
he can't. He doesn't have the consistency to pitch 5 innings.
How'd you like Hugh Darvish's game? 12 strikeouts, no walks, right?
I liked it. I thought Yu Darvish looked excellent. His management loved him. Everybody was happy with him yesterday. He did give up, I think, 1 home run, but whatever. 12 strikeouts, just looked good.
Okay, just a couple of more things, and then we'll get on to whatever you want. Clayton Kershaw says he was too impatient with his rehab. Now he plans to come back in September, not August. Today is Mike Trout's 30th birthday. This is interesting. In his MVP seasons, he's batted .298. Okay? In his non-MVP seasons, he hit .308.
Jay Stubbs is putting all kinds of good information, tidbits in the chat. Let me tell you what he's saying.
Yeah.
He talked about when the National League moved the pitching rubber back 5 feet in 1893, setting the pitching distance to 60 feet 6 inches.
I remember that.
Shut up for a second. The strikeout rate decreased from 8.5% in 1892 to 5.2% in 1893. And then he said, according to Baseball America, 1 foot of increased distance is roughly equivalent to reducing a pitch velocity by 1.5 miles an hour. Uh-oh, I think I lost Lenny. Just a second. I got to go help him out. 1 second, guys. We're going to break. I need some music to put on hold when you guys. When we're waiting for
Okay.
Lenny.
All
I need
right,
some music.
Slinny. You need music. Anyway,
Yeah, to put on hold. To put it
I
on
don't,
hold.
I don't have music.
I know you don't have much, Leonard.
Okay.
So what do you feel like you need to say something? I was just telling you what Jay Stubbs was saying in the chat room, and it was very interesting what he was saying. So anyway, if you didn't see it, it's in the chat room, and I'd like to move on now. Let's move on.
Okay.
What about Xander Bogaerts? He's played 1,005 games at shortstop.
Yep.
The most in Red Sox, second most in Red Sox history. Who do you think had more games at shortstop?
Burleson had more. I'm getting
No.
an echo now. I don't know why.
An echo?
Yeah, getting a little echo. All right, as long as the
Does have an
chat
echo?
as long
Take
as the
your
chat
headphones
room
out.
doesn't take my headphones out. Okay.
Yeah, unplug them for a second. Let's see what happens.
All right, there you go. Is that better?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, we'll do it that way. They asked about Trout, his 30th birthday. He's hit 310 home runs, 203 stolen bases, but it doesn't look like he's coming back. So I wouldn't be surprised if Trout doesn't come back all year. I really would not be surprised.
Right.
That would not shock
I'm not
me.
either. No, me
What
too.
I am surprised with is Barry Bonds broke the all-time home run record on Mike Trout's 16th birthday. Mike Trout hit his first career home run on Barry Bonds' 47th birthday. How about that?
Whoopee.
Whoopee. And by the way, the Orioles, led by Eddie Heckman, have allowed 10 or more runs in 4 straight games.
They're not good, okay?
All right, go
Give them a
against.
break.
All right, go against the Orioles. Okay.
Let's move on.
What do you want to do? Okay.
I want to talk about the games from yesterday, maybe.
All right, let's talk about the games from yesterday. Exactly what I said we wouldn't do, but we'll do it anyway.
Why don't we want to talk about the games? No.
I want to do crystal ball.
Okay, do crystal ball.
Let's do crystal ball. Okay, get ready, everybody. Batten down the hatches. Call all your friends. Call your neighbors. Call all the people who just want to hear the great crystal ball. And ladies and gentlemen, good morning to Crystal Ball. How are you today, Crystal?
I need some music. I need some intro music.
We don't have a producer for the show, okay?
Thank you, Leonard.
There you go. Crystal Ball is here. If you haven't heard, Ed Heckman says he doesn't hear me, okay?
Oh, you don't hear Lenny at all?
Anybody else hear me? Malpal says good.
I know, right? So one says we can't hear you at all. The other one says good.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, look I'm just gonna say hi to the people, and we need some input, please, from the chat room. We really need to know if Lenny. Okay, thank you very much, Jay Trella. He said we can hear you, Lenny.
Okay, there you
Let's
go.
just keep on moving. So I
Okay,
see Tony in both places. Hi, Penelope. Nice to see you. Good day. Robert Gold is here. Love the show. Awesome. Pete, dodge it, I think.
that's right. That's
Um,
right. He's
moving on.
terrific. He got
People
us.
are wanting to move on, but I need to quit saying that today. It's really horrible.
You're very annoying.
Rude. I know. I will stop.
All you want to do is something else.
Will you
Why don't
please
you want to do what we're doing?
look, you're annoying too. Okay.
Crystal
So
Ball. Good morning, Crystal Ball. Let's get
good
the
morning,
roller
Mr.
lady
Leonard.
out of here. All right, here are a couple of things for Crystal Ball, who has had a sensational record for a number of appearances. Who would you rather have for home runs for the remaining games of the season? Adam Duvall or Austin Riley?
I mean, you don't really need a crystal ball for this, okay?
Yes, you
Because
do.
Adam Duvall, since the All-Star break, is batting 200, and Austin Riley is batting 349 with 9 home runs and 25 RBIs. Can you believe what Austin Riley is doing right now? It's
One of the
unbelievable.
reasons why I asked this question, okay?
Why would you ask it though? Duvall,
Will Austin Riley continue and will Adam Duvall pick up the pace?
yes, I don't see
Possible.
why Austin Riley can't continue this. We know he's a powerful hitter. Why can't he?
Are you drafting John Means, the Baltimore Oriole pitcher, next year?
No, I'm not. And I know that everybody likes to really want to be a fan of John Means, but I have to admit to you that he is not a good pitcher. He is giving up multiple home runs every time he goes out there. He gives up multiple home runs every time. Like, if you don't, this last outing that he had, the last one that I see on my, there was a stretch of time for John Means where he went from May to the middle of July, and he gave up multiple home runs every single time he went out there. So he started out the season really good. That's why his ERA is not looking horrible, but he's not a good pitcher. That's all there is to it.
Okay. Now, in honor of Malpal, who loves Lizardo, what's Lizardo's first name?
Jesus.
Jesus Lizardo. Will he, now that he's made the transition, is Lizardo ready to be a. Will you shush?
He made the transition to what?
He was traded.
I know. I know he
Will
got traded.
Lizardo now be ready to be a good fantasy pitcher?
No, he's not ready.
Okay.
He's not ready.
All right.
Okay. Yesterday, he pitched 4 2/3. He allowed 7 runs on 7 hits and walked 4 batters, and he struck out 2.
Okay.
Okay. Only 47 of 81 pitches went for strikes, and he tied a season high with his walks, which he's been horrible this year. So I don't really know what's going on with him, but his ERA through 15 appearances is 7.36. And at AAA, his ERA is 6.52 in 8 outings. So I'm just saying, Jesus Luzardo used to be like the number one left-handed prospect pitcher in baseball, and we all really loved to jump on the Luzardo bandwagon. And we even, I think that even kept on going into this season. He was still kind of exciting, even though last year was like nothing. He's not good. Something's wrong with this. Why is he pitching so bad at AAA? There's something wrong here. So he needs to fix up his mechanics, and then that's it. He's not ready for fantasy right now. But do you remember just like about a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, I don't know, but a caller, they called in. They said, is Luzardo going to be a pitcher this year? Is Oakland going to put him back in the rotation? And I said, absolutely, he will be back in the rotation. He just did not pitch well enough to be in there. But I do, now he's in is he in a rotation now? Is he in Miami? That will help him.
I'm not sure.
I think he went to Miami, and I think that's going to obviously help him out, but nothing can help how bad it is. No pitcher's ballpark is going to be able to help this.
We talked about Chris Sale a few minutes ago. Will he be able to carry the Red Sox to the American League East?
No, but he could carry your fantasy team to the playoffs if you have him.
Interesting. Okay. Do you think that Jake DeGrom will pitch again this year? Forget about how good. Will he come back, or it's both DeGrom and Trout. If the Mets continue to fall out of contention, will Jake DeGrom pitch again this year?
Let's say best case scenario, right? What we do know, here's what we know. He's about going to have an MRI in 10 days. okay, to track how he's doing. If the scan is clean, he's still going to need 3 or 4 weeks, okay, to get ready, because he's just going to be able to resume throwing that day. That's in 10 days from now. Think about it. There's only like a month left in the season, a month and a half left in the season. He is not going to help your fantasy team going forward this season for DeGrom. I'm sorry to break that to you, but you hope that he is dealing with a bone spur and not necessarily like he had Tommy John surgery 11 years ago. So I don't know how long a Tommy John surgery lasts. Like, I don't know, maybe they last forever and you don't have to, get it done again. But, he was going good. He's got a lot of innings. I don't know. He's definitely not anywhere near the end of his career. So I just say he's probably not coming back. And if he did, best case scenario, it's going to take another month and a week. So 5 more weeks before he can come back.
With Aroldis Chapman on the DL, who's going to be the Yankees closer?
I'm pretty sure that they're going to give save chances to Loizaga. He got a save last night, I believe.
He's having a good year. He's been a
Chad
terrific
Green,
pitcher.
Yeah, he's been okay in the bullpen because these failed starters are better in the bullpen. Anyway,
all right. Well,
Chad Green has saves too. You don't know.
Will Bryce Harper win the MVP in the National League? We talked about that a little while ago.
We already did that.
Well, what do you think?
If he makes the playoffs, he will probably be a good chance that he makes. Yes, it'll be a good chance that he gets MVP. But unless the Phillies make the playoffs, he's not getting crap.
Is Kittredge? Everybody thinks Kittredge is going to be the closer in Tampa. What do you think?
Okay, I think that Kittredge is the best closer that they have at the moment, but the Tampa Bay Rays are the worst team in the world to try to figure out where these saves are coming from. It doesn't matter if this pitcher is way better than all the other pitchers. They will find a way to distribute these saves to more than one person, but I think he's the best pitcher.
Nick Anderson could come back and get some saves. And by the way,
Fairbanks is another guy. He's on the injured list too.
Yep.
Fire Icing got a few saves. All these guys.
Colin McHugh in that Tampa bullpen. Wouldn't it be great for the Mets if they had Wheeler, Matz, Flexen, Colin McHugh?
What is it? Flexen? Is Flexen, isn't he in Seattle still or not?
He's still in Seattle and he's pitching pretty well. Okay.
Okay, Matt Whistler is the other guy that they have.
Right. Now, one of the things happening in Washington since they're out of it, looks like Robles is playing every day.
Well, that's because they don't have anybody.
Will you wait a second?
He sucks.
All you do is interrupt me. All you do is criticize. All you do is you want to change the topic.
I'm not criticizing you. I'm criticizing Robles.
Playing every now. At the beginning of the year, we loved Robles. I did. There was a time a couple of years ago we didn't know who was going to be better, Robles or Soto.
Yes.
Is he going to emerge as a decent player?
No, dude. He's horrible. I will play any player in baseball before him, even Conforto, and that's bad. He's horrible. The only reason he's playing is because they don't have anybody else. That's the truth. I'm sorry, but he's horrible. Nobody can put him on their team.
Who would you rather have, Robbie Ray or Jose Berrios? This is a good one, right?
Yeah, this is a great one because, to be honest with you, I'm going to take Berrios. I think that Berrios is going to give up less home runs. I think that Berrios is going to, I like Berrios. I mean, Robbie Ray, dude, has been great this year as far as walks go. He really did cut down on the walks big time. That's a huge thing for Robbie Ray. And I thought, like, he's just making up. Earlier this season, I thought this fool is just making up for the walks with home runs allowed. And it's even worse to allow home runs than walks. But I'm telling you, he has got that under control somewhat. He still is giving up 1.59 home runs per 9 innings. Berrios only gives up 1. Berrios is now in Toronto, so we'll see about the ballpark. But I have to say, I think Berrios is a better pitcher, but Robbie Ray is he's a beast, dude. He's like Lance Lynn. He's going to last the season. He's going to pitch a couple hundred innings like he does every year, and he'll get, close to 300 strikeouts or something. He's good for that. I don't know. I really don't know who to choose. I like Berrios better.
Good morning to Jeremy Gibbs, who joins us in the chat room.
Hi, Jeremy B.
Ian Happ, now I've seen him batting third in the Cubs order. I know you're not a big Ian Happ fan. I have been. Do you think Ian Happ is going to be somebody to reckon with?
I'm sorry, Leonard, but he goes into the category with Victor Robles. These two, the only reason they're playing is because they have nobody else. These two are
Okay,
horrible.
but they're getting
Okay,
chances now, and
since the All Star break, Ian
I
Happ.
thought Hap could steal bases and hit double-digit home runs.
Okay, so why don't you, while I'm telling you what he's done since the All Star break, you go ahead and tell me how many stolen bases Ian Happ has on the season.
3,
How many steals has he been caught?
5.
Oh, that's a good. That's going to help him get more stolen bases.
Well, am I
That's
right?
I have no idea. All I know is
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea either.
from July 16th to now.
Yeah.
From July 16th, he's had 68 plate appearances. He has 10 hits and he struck out 22 times.
Okay.
That's horrible.
Are you drafting Lucas Giolito next year in the first 4 rounds? He has been one of the huge disappointments in fantasy baseball.
Now, look, Giolito, his ERA is not that great. I will give you that. His last outing was absolutely horrific. He gave up 6 earned runs, 3 home runs, 8 hits in 4 innings. That was the shortest outing of the season for him, though. This guy pitches deep into games. We got that. But I do think that his pitch, I haven't looked this up, but remember the drama that was going on when they decided to cut off the sticky substances, and Giolito was caught up with Josh Donaldson in some kind of war of the words and stuff. Anyway, I do think it's affected him with his pitching, and maybe it'll just take him a little while to get used to not using it. But for now, he's not been that good. He does pitch very deep into games, which I love. He does strike out batters, but I'm not. Four rounds is a lot of rounds, though. I mean, you think about the pitchers that are going to go in the first 4 rounds, and you have to say that Giolito has to be like in there somewhere, right? No.
No. Yeah, he'll be in the first 4 rounds. He'll be taken somewhere in the first
So
4.
he won't be on your team.
No, won't be on my
what we
team.
found out.
You think Cincinnati's going to catch Milwaukee?
I don't know. I'm not going to bet that they'll
Don't
catch
say I
Milwaukee.
don't know.
I'm going to
Your
bet that.
job is to know the future. You
Well,
can't say I don't know.
I know that the Cincinnati Reds are in contention to make the playoffs, and whether or not I do think they can. I think they can.
Will they catch them?
They're going to make the
Of course they
playoffs.
can. Will they catch them?
Of course they can.
MVP, Castellanos or Winker, if they do catch them.
So the Reds are 6 games behind the Brewers right now. But look, man, the Brewers are not that good of a team, in my opinion. Yelich just went back. Did Yelich get activated yesterday? But it doesn't matter because he's not doing anything when he's healthy. He's Bellinger 2.0.
Who would you rather have next year?
Yeah.
Clase or Karinchak from Cleveland?
I mean, is this really a psychic question? Because if you did this by stats alone, you would have to say.
No, I'm talking about next year. Who's going to go higher? You should know that.
How about this? This will confuse you. Next year, okay, Class A is going to be next year's Karinchak because Karinchak did great 1 year, and we thought he was all that and more, and then he is not good this year at all because closers do that sometimes. And Class A is having the year that Karinchak had in 2020.
Right.
This year. Next year he'll be stinky, and Karinchak will get the job back because that's how the closer. No, I'd rather have Class A next year. Yeah.
Willie Adames to me is not a Hall of Fame player. He's gone through a great streak, a great stretch. He's had a great year. But do you think Willie Adames and his stardom will come to a halt? Would you trade Willie Adames if you could?
Yeah, I probably would trade him if I could. But here's the thing: he has not slowed down at all. Yesterday he went 2 for 5 with a homer and a double. Guess how many home runs he's hit since the All-Star break?
I don't know.
6.
All right.
With a 299 average. And, he was always kind of known as a defensive guy, not really a hitter, but he seems to flourish in Milwaukee, so I'm not messing around with it. I don't see it coming to an end. He's a pretty good player, really.
Next year, you got to draft a pitcher. You want a Tiger pitcher. Skubal or Mize, who are you taking?
I mean, I think that I'm taking you know what? I'm not taking either of these two. You know why?
That's not the question.
Because they're
Skubal or Mize for next year. Who's going to have a better year?
Probably Casey Mize, but Skubal
Yep.
has a higher ceiling than Casey Mize. Skubal has a higher ceiling, but he doesn't have the command, and neither does Casey Mize. Their FIP is huge. Casey Mize 4.80, and Tariq Skubal, his FIP is 5.14. I mean, their ERAs are not that much better. Obviously, Casey Mize has a better ERA right now, but when you look at their underlying numbers, you say Skubal's giving up 2 home runs per 9 right now, and that is not sustainable for him to be in a rotation like that. But everybody loves that he throws really hard. Casey Mize throws just as hard as Skubal, but I just think that if Skubal could get his command right, he will be the better pitcher in the long run. I will take Mize for next year.
Let's talk about some closers now. Under over 5 saves. I'll give you 2 closers. David Bednar, Tyler Clippard.
Okay.
Under over 5 saves for the rest of the year. And I'll give you Jesus Colome as another guy.
Okay. Pittsburgh.
Bednar, Clippard, Colome.
Pittsburgh doesn't even have 5 saves to give out for the rest of the year. So Bednar is a down. Under. With Clippard. Clippard stinks. He's not a closer. You know he's an effector. He's not even a closer. Right. So Tyler Clippard under.
Okay.
He is the only thing that they have at the moment. But do you remember Colome is interesting, okay? Or Colome, yeah. I don't know how to say. How do I not know how to say this guy's name still?
It's Colome.
Okay. Remember when he was in Tampa and he was pissed off because he was not the closer and they were like, we're not giving you the closer role. And so he was like pitching crappy because he did not like being the part-time closer. He wanted to have a specific role, you know?
Right.
And he did not pitch well. And then he got traded and he went somewhere else and he pitched really good when he had the job all to himself. Then they send him off to Seattle, or he's been to like several teams since, but then Minnesota does this to him. They put him with Taylor Rogers. But now I believe that Colome is going to get the opportunity because he now has 4 saves and 4 blown saves. But I think that the last couple times now, ever since he's the guy now, I really do think he's going to get the job going forward and he's going to be able to keep it because he has been effective when he has that role. It's like he's such a little crybaby. He can't stand it. If he wants to know that he's the closer.
Okay.
That's it.
One more closer, Alex Reyes, who's had a phenomenal year, but lately he seems to be faltering a little bit. Will he lose his closer job for this year due to innings or due to fatigue? Do you think his great run is over for this year?
Well, if you think he's going to have fatigue, imagine what he would have been like in the rotation where everybody wanted him to be.
Well, okay.
Look, on Friday, it only took him 9 pitches. Okay. He just went to pitch an inning, 9 pitches, right? That was against the Royals. So he has not gotten a save since July 27th before that, but now he's 25 for 26 in save opportunities. So whether or not he's cooled off, the numbers still say that he's a good closer. But now they have Gallegos. Gallegos got a save yesterday. And I do think that they're going to probably be more picky. Like they're going to do matchups based saves in order to keep them both healthy, I think. So Reyes, I don't think he's the only save guy going forward. And I do not think that it was a fluke that yesterday Gallegos got a save.
Spencer Patton in Texas.
I don't know him.
Is he the closer?
Spencer Patton. I don't even know who he is.
He's the closer in Texas. Okay.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, yes, I do. Well, they have he's only a temporary closer. And here's the other thing about Spencer Patton in Texas.
Yeah.
How many saves is Texas going to get, dude? Are
Don't
they going to
call me? What do you call me, dude? For?
Do they have 5 games to win between now and the end?
That's that's part of the analysis. What about Paul Sewald or Diego Castillo?
It's definitely Castillo, dude. Definitely Castillo.
Definitely Castillo.
No
okay.
Question.
All right. Now here's the great question.
Yeah.
Will you draft a Colorado pitcher, Kyle Freeland, next year?
No, he's a freebie. He doesn't deserve to be drafted.
Okay.
But you can pick him up based on matchups.
Marsh or Adele? Who do you like out for the Angels in the Angel outfield
I like
this
none.
year? For this
None.
year,
0. You couldn't even force me to put either one of them on my team.
But
okay? I would rather have.
If you were forced, which one could you put? Marsh or Adele?
I would rather have Sebi on my team. Sebi Zavala.
Now,
Marsh or Adele, I would take Adele if I had to take one, but neither of them are worth.
Last 2 questions.
Really?
Last 2.
Okay.
Is
One of them
Hunter
is just
Dozier my
stupid.
worst pick ever?
Your worst pick? Hell no, it's not your worst pick.
What
There's
were you going to
plenty.
say,
Ian
Conforto?
Desmond. How about Ian Desmond or like?
Okay.
I mean, that was
And
just a horrible. You kept drafting Ian Desmond for years, even though
yeah,
he kept being horrible. How about
what's horrible?
Conforto? He's horrible.
2020. Now, Harold
No, you
Reynolds
have
was
plenty of.
raving about Lamont Wade the other day.
Harold Reynolds needs to
Y-
snap out of it.
You
Why
think
does he
Harold?
think that Harold Reynolds? I mean, okay, first of
I
all,
don't know.
I would love to know the reasoning that he gave you to tell you that
He
Harold
didn't give me a reason.
Lamont Wade is a future baseball
That's what
star.
he said. I don't know the reasons. I didn't
Well, he
listen
can't
to
hit
his.
lefties. That's the problem. One
Okay.
problem first, right off the bat, he can't hit lefties, even though
Okay.
he's having a good time right now. Okay, let's just say that he's the strong side of a platoon because
Hmm.
Alex Dickerson can't hit righties. So let's just say that Lamont Wade continues to be excellent for NL only leagues, right? Excellent. He's wonderful. He's got 13 home runs on the season. You only drafted him because he had my last name.
That's right.
So it's a pleasant surprise for anybody.
100% right.
But he's not a future star until he can start hitting lefties and until he can start at least hitting them a little bit, just a little bit.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how good he is defensively. I think he's better defensively than the rest of the guys. So
Okay.
maybe.
Well, Crystal Ball, you've done a fantastic
No,
job.
there's one more. First of
Go
all,
ahead.
you asked the most ridiculous question about Luis Garcia.
All right. So don't. What do you?
Astros. Why would you think that it's time to bench Luis Garcia from the Astros? Because he had
Well,
two bad
because
outings.
he had a good run. You don't normally see pitchers come in as a surprise and have the whole season of a good run. I think he's due to drop off a little bit.
The last two outings before yesterday, because yesterday he pitched 6 innings, no earned runs, 8 strikeouts. This guy is not benchable. Yes, he didn't do great against San Francisco or Seattle. Both of them away, by the way. Both of them away. Look at his stats away and at home. That's going to be interesting because I could tell just by looking at his game log that he's much better at home. Here's the thing. He's a youngster. This guy deserves to be the rookie of the year, maybe, right?
Yep. Okay. Well,
But
Crystal Ball, you've done a fantastic
no, no, no,
job.
no. You're not
What do
even
you
giving him any
mean? How
credit.
long do you want to go? 3 hours?
I just want to talk about him for a second longer because I think he's worth talking about.
Go ahead.
Okay. He strikes out a lot of batters, 129 batters in 106 and 2/3 innings.
All right.
His ERA is 3.29 on the season with a 109 whip. Last year, when he came up to the majors and made his debut, he pitched 12 and a third innings, only 7 hits allowed. That's another thing. This guy does not give up hits. 84 hits allowed in 106 and 2/3 innings this year. That's wonderful. If Chandler were here, he would tell you that's a sign of a great pitcher right there.
Okay.
And if Mal Powell were here, he would tell you to look at his strikeout percentage.
Al Pal is here. He's not saying it.
He will say, look at his ground ball percentage and his strikeout percentage. That's what I'm going to
Okay.
do right now. One of these guys, though, that I looked up this morning, I thought of Malpal because the strikeout, and maybe it was him. Hold on a second. I'm looking him up right now. There's a lot of Luis Garcias in the world. So his strikeout percentage is 29.8%, and his ground ball percentage is only 36.7%. But I was looking at somebody today who had a ground ball of like 53% and a strikeout percentage of, I mean, this guy was way over 70, the 70 that you would want to get to. Malpal, put the formula in the chat room, unless you don't want to tell our secret, because I kind of like having it as a secret.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, there we are.
And George will come on tonight, and Douglas will come on this afternoon.
That's right.
Look, I copied and pasted George's advertisement. I will say, join for the Roto Imbeciles tonight at 6:30 p.m. George Hubschman will be on the newest installment of Roto Imbeciles. We'll be talking about the Cole Hamels signing by the Dodgers. I don't know how they think they're going to. Cole Hamels is not that great of an addition to me. I don't think. Okay. Anyways, George's going to talk about Herman Marquez, Ramon Laureano, the PEDs, and the fall of Jake Arrieta. I wonder, poor Jake Arrieta.
And Doug Boyle will be here, what, 1 o'clock?
I don't care. I did a lot of work on the games notes You know that? I did a lot of work on them.
Yeah,
So for
especially
you
since
to
I told you not to do any.
well, you said you would just talk about the box scores and I'll go through the notes that I put
All
down.
right, go ahead. You want to go
Let me
through the
do that.
games? Be my guest.
Open up the box scores so that you could do it with me.
I'm ready. I'm ready for anything.
Okay.
In my sleep, I've actually done radio shows in my sleep.
You
Is
said
that correct?
earlier that you said earlier that Brad Miller, nobody's talking about Brad Miller, but I was going to say that you were lying because you love to talk about Brad Miller whenever you can.
Yes, I have talked about him a couple of times. No
Well,
question
remember
about it.
at the beginning of the season, I was teasing you and making fun of you because you were drafting Brad Miller, and I said he stinks. He's never going to do anything again. Blah blah blah, and he did.
Right.
Maybe that was last year.
Well, go ahead. What do you got?
He homered 2 times yesterday. That's the point.
Okay, he homered 2 times.
He homered 2 times. He's playing for Rhys Hoskins right now, I think, because Rhys Hoskins is out. But the Mets and the Phillies are playing each other, so it's a great matchup. Philadelphia Phillies are in first place now, stole it away from the Mets. They've won 7 straight games. We already talked about that. And they won 5-3 yesterday over the Mets. So are you there still?
I'm right here,
Okay,
just
I felt
listening.
like I lost you.
I know you
Anyways,
didn't lose me.
now they're ahead of the Mets 1.5 games, and it's Phillies' longest winning streak since 2012 right now.
That's right.
The
And
Mets
they
have
had
lost 6 of 7 and 8 of 10. They're in a total spiral downhill. They're 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position in the first 2 games of this series. So they're about to get swept, okay? But Odubel,
that's it. Odubel with the 2 home runs. Also, Alec
3 homer.
Bohm.
3-run
Alec
homer.
Bohm went 2
He
for
COVID?
4. He's starting to hit
Alec
now.
Bohm. What the hell? Alec Bohm is starting to hit. I don't know.
He's
He
up to
committed more
250.
errors. Okay. Luckily, fantasy people don't have to worry about it, but he's horrible for errors. Okay.
Okay, next
So
game. Let's speed it up a little bit.
Conforto, Villar, and McCann, 3 consecutive home runs. Okay, that's a Mets record, by the way. And Ian Kennedy got his 18th save, number 2 with the Phillies. He's obviously their closer now. Okay.
Go ahead.
So, anyways, Baez and Tyler McGill and Baez. The pitcher and Javi Baez were the only hits that the Mets got through 8 innings. Pete Alonso's been hitless in his last 17 at bats. And Ranger Suarez, I talked about him on Saturday Baseball yesterday. He had 2 2/3 innings. Okay, for the Philadelphia Phillies, his ERA is less than 1 right now. And that's it. Alec Bohm, defensive woe is what it says. He's a defensive woe.
Yeah, he hasn't played good defense all year. It's amazing that Freddie Galvis could get a chance to play third base.
Lindor, no timetable for him to come back, even though he's progressing in his rehab. No timetable. DeGrom we talked about a lot. Hoskins didn't play for the 2nd straight game, but he did not go to the IL, did he?
No.
So we don't know for sure that Mr. Brad Miller will be getting lots of playing time going forward. But Didi was out of the lineup. He got hit in the elbow by a pitch, and then Chase Anderson was placed on the injured list. Gene Segura was hit in the hand and the face by a pitch, so he stayed in the game to run the bases, but then he was replaced in the field to start the next inning. So Girardi did say the x-rays were negative, and he's optimistic that Segura will be back in the lineup today. So we'll see what happens. But these injury problems, the Phillies they're right there. They could really hurt. They could really hurt coming up.
Okay.
Riley Adams. Riley Adams, 2-run homer. Who's Riley Adams? Who is this? A rookie catcher.
He hit his first career home run in the 9th inning.
Yes. 412 feet, too. And he was catching for Josiah Gray, the other youngster. First game for Josiah Gray with 10 strikeouts. That's good for his career.
Well, keep in mind, Andrew Stevenson's batting leadoff. I think he's going to if you got to pick up somebody, I would take him on the waiver wire, batting leadoff.
Hold on a minute. He's batting leadoff? And he's the catcher?
He batted Andrew Stevenson.
What does he play? What position?
Center field yesterday. He's an outfielder. He can play all 3 positions, okay? Nothing new on Atlanta, but Adam Duvall up 4 times, struck out 4 times.
How about Jorge Soler? We love him.
He is 16th home run.
I love him. I got him in Tout Wars, and he's my man right now. He's my favorite.
And you got him because I told you to get him, right?
Yeah.
Next.
We'll go there.
Next game.
Kyle Finnegan pitched the 9th. He got his 3rd save. He's definitely the closer in this moment in time. So, okay, we have some injuries for Juan Soto. He He came in and walked as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning. He was held out of the starting lineup for a second consecutive game. Dave Martinez says that he's moving around a little better today, but he's got a right knee problem. The MRI said that the MRI just revealed a bruise. So Soto, not too scary there. We were talking about Huascar. Freeman, though. Freddie Freeman leaves the game with upper respiratory infection after 1 inning, and that's not good. Who the hell knows what that is? If you don't have COVID, I guess there's somebody else in baseball that has the flu right now. If you could imagine that, there's actually a flu case going around. Okay, Miami at Colorado. The Rockies had 5 home runs, so they're hitting at home. So 14-2 on Friday, and then they didn't hit any home runs yesterday. So Brendan Rodgers, though, your boy, you love Brendan Rodgers. He's got
the guy I love in this game is Lewis Brinson, who I've been telling people to pick up. He had three hits last night. He's up to 252.
How can you move on from Brendan Rodgers right when he has a 14-game hitting streak?
That's right. And he's batting second in that lineup.
Well, he's hurt again. Okay, he's hurt again. So.
Oh boy.
He's day-to-day right now. But Austin Gomer, have you been Gomered?
No. 6. He pitched good. 9 strikeouts in 6 innings. That's
very good. 5 hits.
And by the way, Luzardo did start yesterday.
I know that. I told you he was horrible yesterday.
7 earned runs.
CJ Cron hit 2 homers on Friday, and then he hit a 2-run double yesterday. He's been pretty reliable for the Colorado. I mean, if you have Cron, you're really liking him this year because of where he's hit. Anyways, so Louis B. You like him, Louis B.
Who's that?
Louis B. Louis Brinson.
Oh, yes, Louis Brinson. I like Brinson.
Jorge Alfaro.
And Sierra.
Jorge Alfaro is the catcher turned outfielder, by the way.
That's right.
That's one great thing, like Eric Haas. If he actually qualifies at catcher, but he's not playing catcher, he's very useful in fantasy. He had an RBI double. So the Marlins scored 4 runs in the 7th inning. Pablo Lopez, he was having a very good season. He just threw his first bullpen, since July 17th when he went on the injured list. But he threw a bullpen. That's good. Now, here it is. Pitching coach for the Rockies, Steve Foster, was away from the team due to an illness that is not COVID. They said that he was feeling ill before Friday's game. He was sent home. He tested negative for COVID, but he's got the flu type A. So hopefully, everybody, it's different. I don't know why I'm so amused that it's the flu. I haven't heard of anybody getting the flu for 2 years. So
I haven't heard anybody getting chickenpox.
There's all kinds of smoke in Denver right now because there's fires going on all over the place. But anyways, here's the thing with Alfaro. He's showing that he can play left field. That's excellent. He had a great catch or throw or whatever. They were all giving him love for that. So watch where he's playing because he can qualify at catcher and play out in the outfield if needed. This one guy who is a Miami minor leaguer, Eddie Alvarez, he earned a silver medal with the U.S. baseball team, at the Olympics yesterday. And he also won the silver in the short track speed skating 5,000-meter relay in 2014 Winter Games. He's just the 6th athlete to win a medal at the Summer and Winter Games, and he's the 3rd U.S. athlete to do it. U.S. is kicking ass right now, Leonard. Kicking ass. Taking names. Finally.
Next game.
Cincinnati Reds. They beat the Pirates 11-3. They are crushing the Pirates. We already talked about this. They're actually 8-1 against the Pirates this season. They have 11 more games to face the Pirates. The Reds have won 14 of their last 15 games against the Pirates and 9 of 11 total. They're averaging more than 7 runs per game. They're within 2 games behind the wild card or the Padres for the wild card, which could totally happen, especially now with Moustakas healthy. The Reds offense is playing well. Their defense is not hurting them as bad as I thought it would this year. They've scored at least 5 runs in 14 of their last 15 games, including 28 combined runs in the first 3 games of this series against Pittsburgh. So
Vladimir Castellanos is back now.
Yep.
And the big disappointment for Pittsburgh, in my opinion, a rookie is a rookie is a rookie. Brian Hayes, 249 with a 319 on base percentage.
That's
far from the hopes that we had for Brian Hayes, right?
Well, it's a lot better than Victor Robles or Conforto or
but he's still underperforming based upon what we thought he would do.
Nobody likes this rookie Vladimir Gutierrez too. Vladimir Gutierrez. He's 7-3 now. He allowed 1 run over 6 innings. He got a win yesterday, and he retired the final 7 batters he faced. He keeps getting better each time he goes out. Nobody likes him, but I do. That's
Okay,
it.
that's good.
Mitch Keller went. He had a 9.37 ERA in his 4 previous starts against the Reds. He allowed 4 earned runs in 5 innings to take the loss yesterday. He's 3-9. Mitch Keller, 3-9. So, do you think that's because Mitch Keller is on the wrong team, or do you think that because I really do think that has at least a little bit to do with it? Is he a good pitcher or not? He's got such weird stats, Lenny. Such
Yeah,
weird.
he's not somebody you can depend on for fantasy baseball. That's for sure.
19th home run for Castellanos, and Votto, dude, he hit his 23rd homer of the season. Okay,
That's right.
23rd.
Okay.
Votto on fire.
Check
The
out
Pirates-
Jeff Trella's waiver wire article for next week. It's up in the chat room.
Anthony
So-
Alford back in left field. He went 3 for
Mhm.
4 and hit 2 doubles. So Lucas Sims is expected to be activated today.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have any chance of getting saves anymore or not?
Of course he has a chance when you have Garrett and Embry, and
Yeah, I guess so, right? You don't have to
anybody's
run.
got a chance.
That's
Whoever's
true.
hot gets it. Next game.
Brian Reynolds, 3 for 4 with a 2-run homer. He's pretty reliable for fantasy. Okay,
Yep.
moving on. The Giants beat Milwaukee Brewers 9-6. It was a pretty crazy game, though. I liked it. It really shows the San Francisco Giants tenacity. I don't know what the word is. Grit, mental presence. It's like it's the
What made
ability.
it grit? What made it grit was Mike Yastrzemski, 0 for 6, 2 strikeouts. He's only batting .222, and the Giants are where they are without Yastrzemski. I think that's fantastic.
I think it was Laurent Wade that did it yesterday. He is the one that put the Giants ahead in the 11th inning with a 1-out single, and it scored Austin Slater. But Belt comes up. He's just clutch. Chris Bryant to top it all off. Chris Bryant, he's just an excellent addition for the Giants. I like the Giants. I think that they have a great team. I just think they're kind of like, the Cardinals. Everybody always talks about the Cardinal way. And I
Right.
just think the Giants have that too, really. Anyway,
Okay.
They were playing their 3rd straight extra inning game. They tied the game with a 2-out rally in the 9th, and then they bounced back after blowing a 3-run lead in the 10th. Lamont Wade is the guy for me.
Okay. Next.
All 4 of the Giants' 11th inning runs came off poor Sal Romano, who made his Brewers debut yesterday, and that's what happened to him. 4 runs in the 11th. Jake McGee pitched in the bottom of the 11th. He was credited with the win. He pitched, I think, for 3 straight games or something. He's pitching too much right now, but he had to because they didn't have anybody else. There was like 9 pitchers yesterday. So, all right, moving on. Posey hit a 2-run single, blah, blah, blah. Brandon Crawford doing what he does. Luis Urias, he had a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 10th. Willie Adames, you don't like him that much?
I do, but I just don't think players like that go wire to wire having
You
such a
love
great
Brandon
year.
Woodruff. He pitched great yesterday. He was striking out lots of batters.
That's true.
Michael Taylor, is that
Forget
true?
it. Forget it.
Taylor. Josh Hader's COVID now. So guess who gets a chance to be the closer now?
You're a boy.
Devin Williams.
Yep.
Man, if this guy would have started the season healthy in this role, or he's got 7 wins on the season. So he's actually doing better. But I dropped him so long ago. I haven't been paying attention to Devin Williams. Really, I drafted him in a couple teams. That was a huge mistake. Anyway, Brewers COVID breakout over there, but Christian Yelich was activated yesterday, and Adrian Hauser, he went on the COVID injured list. He's positive. So Arizona, San Diego. Darvish, he pitched well yesterday.
12 strikeouts, no walks.
Ahead in the count all night. He did not get behind.
Excuse me for interrupting your
pardon me, you
monologue
interrupted
here.
me first. Okay.
Yeah. Excuse me. But yes, 12 strikeouts, no walks. Go.
No walks, but he was ahead in the count on all the times. He was he's a very good pitcher. The best that they have in San Diego. They better pray that he keeps pitching well, because who the hell else are they going to put in there? I mean, Lamet is useless. Weathers is useless. Blake Snell is useless. How about Joe Musgrove? He's kind of useless. He's pretty good. He's probably the number 2 that they have, but they're just not a good. This pitching staff is not great.
Nope.
Taylor Widener, he's good.
Sorry.
I like him. Do you like him?
Yes.
I like all the San Francisco.
Okay. Or how about the Arizona pitchers?
How about Arizona, since we're talking about him?
Yeah, go ahead.
How about Machado? He homered. Okay. Machado's had 2 huge hits last night. Both of them came when Machado has 2 strikes. And he told his secret about how he does it. He says that he hits really good with 2 strikes because he was taught when he was younger to look at the scoreboard. He says the scoreboard tells you everything about the game, and the scoreboard is your best cheat sheet. So that's what helps him hit well when there's 2 strikes against him. I don't know. Hosmer, though, came through. All you people out there that like to dog on Hosmer and say that he's useless and he needs to be traded, they're paying him way too much money, and all kinds of Padre fan complainers about Hosmer. Dude, look at his RBIs every year. I don't care what you say. He tied the game yesterday. He hit a home run. I don't know if it was a home run, but it went right down the right field line and it absolutely tied the game. And that's he's just fantasy relevant. That's all I'm going to say. And I say, quit picking on Eric Hosmer.
Okay, next game.
All right. When Tatis comes back, you should expect him to play center field again. They're actually trying to get him. Well, they haven't said for sure that he's going to play center field, but they want to possibly switch his position when he comes off the injured list. If he does come off the injured list, he will probably come off the injured list. But New York Yankees at Seattle. Or maybe it was at the Yankees.
Yes.
It seemed like it was at the Yankees.
It was in New York, yes.
The Yankees beat the Mariners 5-4. That was their 5th straight win. We already know that. Plus, they've also won 10 times in the last 12 games. And 3 out of the first 4 games, or out of this series with Seattle, they're about to sweep Seattle. That's the point. When the Yankees go to Seattle, they lose. I don't know if you know that, but the Mariners are horrible. They're actually blowing up right in front of our faces. I thought that there was hope for them. It just doesn't seem like that they're going to be able to do it. And I mean, are you surprised? No.
Well, and Chris Flexen, the guy we talked about before, 5 innings. He struck out 7, gave up 3 earned runs. He's having a nice year, pitching with a 3.8 ERA.
For sure, dude. Him and they do have some decent stuff going on over there, but they're not ready yet. Aaron Judge and Odor homered because Haniger and the whole Seattle team was just making errors all over the place, throwing the ball around, stepping on it, falling down, slipping. It was just like a couple bad news Bears situation going on out there.
Okay, Loaiziga got the save for the Yankees.
Andrew Heaney did get his first win since he was traded to the Yankees. So do you like the Andrew Heaney? Do you think that's going to be enough to get him through?
I like Andrew Heaney. I think it was a great pickup. I think it's gone unnoticed. But I think if the Yankees do make a run, part of it's going to be with Andrew Heaney. Loaiziga got the save, and he has had a great year. So I would jump all over Loaiziga.
He's definitely the guy that's getting the chances. Heaney retired the 13 of the last 15 batters that he faced. And, Andrew Heaney is a decent pitcher. When he's healthy, he's a good pitcher. He does get good amount of strikeouts. I don't know how good he'll be at Yankee Stadium, but yesterday he retired 13 of the final 15 hitters. And he ended his outing by striking out the side in the 6th inning. So there you go. Judge hit his home run number 23.
Okay,
so a couple of things. J.P. Crawford for the Mariners, he was held out of the lineup. It was his 2nd game that he missed this year, all year. The last time he missed a game was May 23rd. Anyways, he's got an illness. Who knows? The Yankees, Corey Kluber, strained right shoulder. Do you expect to see him coming back? He actually
not at all. Not at all.
Threw 40 pitches yesterday. And he faced live batters for the 2nd time this week. So he's trying to come back.
Okay.
You know how that goes.
Yes, I do.
I didn't even do Tampa Bay, Baltimore. Not at all. I didn't even do the game.
Okay.
I skipped it on accident.
You skipped it on accident.
The Toronto Blue Jays beat the Red Sox 1-0 in the first game of the doubleheader. The Red Sox lost 8 of 9. They've scored 5 runs or less in 14 consecutive games. And the Toronto Blue Jays, who I still believe are going to be the winners of the American League East, 8-1 since they got back home to Toronto. Okay,
right.
8-1. Now they're going out of town again.
Semien with
Martinez stuck over there in Toronto. I don't think he can come home because he has COVID. I think he's stuck in Toronto.
Semien with the walk-off home run.
Yes, he is.
Romano got the win, and Matt Barnes took the loss in game number 1. In game number 2, Matt Barnes got the win. So you got a win and a loss.
Okay, but Matt Barnes is okay, fine, but how about Simeon? What a great season he's having. Yesterday was actually his first game-ending home run of the career. So
Yes, it was.
anyway, JD Martinez is stuck in Toronto.
He is. Why? Because he's got the COVID?
Yeah, dude, he's stuck there, I think, until
Oh,
he
no kidding.
tests. They don't let you back and forth unless you're COVID free.
That's right. All
But
right, let's go over
the
the
tests don't
Tampa
work anyway.
Baltimore
So
game for a
wait a
minute.
minute.
We'll both do. Yeah, look at you. You do one game, I'll do another game, and we'll
Just
just
be
talk at the same
quiet.
time.
Just a second.
All right, I will officially be quiet. Go.
Just a second. Let's finish the Boston game. Robbie Ray, isn't he one of your favorites?
Yes, I like them.
6 scoreless innings for him. He has an ERA under 3. He walked 2, struck out 5. And Jordan Romano is a newbie, right? Is he new? Pitched a perfect 7th. He got the win. I'm talking about in the first game. So why are you trying to act like Barnes got the win? He didn't.
In the
Oh, in the
second
second
game,
game,
he got the win, is what I
Ottavino got
said. If you're scoring
Ottavino
at home.
is the backup closer in Boston, but they're not going to win any more games. I'm telling you, these guys are not going to win that many more games because they got nothing in the tank. Verdugo is horrible. I think he's a better hitter than what he's been, but I think he hit a home run yesterday. But anyway, Verdugo's been on a very long, I'm going to call it a Victor Robles or something. It's just he's been horrible lately. And Eovaldi is not going to be able to make it, dude. The Blue Jays are 2-7 in extra innings games, okay, and they're 7-13 in 1-run games. If they could really pinpoint this, they would be definitely the winners of the American League East. I still think they can win that division. Dude.
Okay.
All right,
I
Jose
have the
Barrios.
Rays Orioles
He got to pitch.
information if you want.
Okay. Do you want to do that in the middle of this game, or should we?
No, go ahead. You just keep going. Go ahead.
Well, Barrios pitched again in the second game, so it's important. Forget it. Just talk about Baltimore.
No, you talk
Mancini,
about what you want.
what did
Go.
Mancini do yesterday? Who pitched? What's going on? Baltimore, Tampa. Please. Did you get cut off again? And I got to come down.
No, I did not get cut off. I just kept my mouth shut because
Oh,
you
well,
want to
that's-
keep doing this for 3 hours. But go ahead.
oh, you're so annoying. I swear.
I am very annoying. I
Just
will tell you.
whatever. Talk about Tampa Bay and Baltimore, please.
Okay, Ed Heckman was at the game.
You're
That's all I
wasting
care
time.
about. That's all I care about. Okay, Mullins hit his 19th home run. This kid is just turning into a 320 batting average, 19 home runs. Austin Hayes batted second. He got 2 hits. You asked about Mancini. He was in the game. He got a hit, but nothing. And I'll tell you something else, man. It's McClanahan, who I told you weeks ago is going to be an excellent hitter. Pitcher,
You don't even know.
left-hander, throws 100 miles an hour, 7 innings, struck out 8, gave up 3 earned runs. Jump on that bandwagon. And of course, you had Wander Franco hit his 4th home run. Manny Margot got 3 hits, and there you go.
I could say that Wander Franco is a good play for next week because the schedule is very beneficial for the Tampa Bay. Because Wander Franco hits lefties good, way better than he hits righties. And the Tampa Bay Rays are facing 4 lefties next week. So put Wander Franco in if you have him and you're benching him because he's been a bad kid. He's benched, but no, put him back in. He's ready to do good this next week. That's all. The Vladdy Jr. is doing what he does, hitting home runs. I'm going back to the Red Sox game because I wasn't done with it because Barrios pitched yesterday, and I really like Barrios. He's going to be a big difference maker, okay? But he did give up a Verdugo home run after I bitched about how bad Verdugo's been because he has been. So anyway, Martin Perez got moved to the bullpen. Tanner Houck, he's a pretty good pitcher if he can get deep into games, right? He left in the 4th inning, so I wish he could go deeper. More innings for him. That'll be fine. Chris Sale's coming back next week. Do you want to talk about Detroit and Cleveland? The game was delayed 66 minutes. Rain.
Yeah, well, okay, but you have still got to pay attention to Akil Baddoo. Still betting leadoff. He went 1 for 4, so he's still in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Haas, your boy, he got 2 more hits.
Haas.
Miles Straw batting leadoff for Cleveland. That's where I want him. Rosario batting second. So you're going to see some steals from these 2 guys.
Cleveland.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I apologize. That was my fault this time.
Oh, really? All right. Go ahead. Next game.
The game was 2-1. The game was 2-1 Cleveland Indians. Okay.
Everybody's left the
Hold.
chat room, by the way. Just want to let you know.
Is that why you're being so rude? Because people
Well,
left the
you
chat room?
can't do this for 2 hours.
Get off. I'm cutting you off. I'm gonna finish the games on my own. See you
Go ahead.
later.
Go
Goodbye.
ahead.
Okay, got rid of him because he's very rude. He's very rude. Yesterday, the Cleveland Indians, they had 10 hits, but they finished 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and they lost 2-1 to the Tigers. So Miguel Cabrera, he is home runs shy of 500. He really needs to get those 2 home runs. He could do it in one day. He just has to have a good day. But yesterday went 0 for 3, and he walked. So his career total is 498 home runs. I really want to see him do this soon. He will become the 28th player in Major League history with 500 home runs when he does. And he also has 2,946 hits in 19 seasons. I really like Miggy. All right. Tyler Alexander had a season high 5 1/3 scoreless innings, 4 hits, did not walk anybody, struck out 4. It was his 7th appearance since moving into the rotation. So it's good because he had not really gone deep into games at all until finally yesterday, season high 5 1/3 score, 5 1/3 innings. That's the deepest that he's gone. And Wilson Ramos, he was former Tigers catcher. They let him go. He got picked up, and then he hit a leadoff home run in the 9th. That was very fun for him. And Gregory Soto got his 13th save in 14 opportunities. All right, you got Eli Morgan over in Cleveland. He is pitching 7 innings. What, Leonard? No, I'm not putting you in. You're being punished. Just kidding. You're not being punished. You're back on, so don't curse at me.
Okay. Giants played the Dodgers. Duke Snyder hit a home run.
Okay.
Next.
I was talking about Eli Morgan and the Cleveland starting pitchers.
Oh, I didn't know that. Go ahead.
I bet you know already what I'm going to say about the starting pitchers in Cleveland.
No, I don't. They don't.
I feel like I'm a freaking broken record with this.
You are a freaking. I don't know about a broken
record. Leonard, if you don't know what it is, that means you're not really listening to my show. You're showing up in the chat room and you're flirting with other girls on Facebook instead of listening to my shows when I talk about the Cleveland starting pitchers. What do they do every year? What do they do? I bet Malpal knows.
I don't know what they do. Just
their starting pitchers go lots of innings. They're the team for innings pitched from starting pitchers. This guy, Eli Morgan, he went 7 innings yesterday. You just don't see that from a brand new pitcher on most teams, but you do in Cleveland, and that's the thing. So I do love the innings, and he gets 7 innings yesterday. That was his longest start in the majors, but it didn't take him long. Struck out 3. He retired the final 9 batters that he faced, and 15 of his 21 outs were in the air. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't think it is in the air. But anyway, Michael Fulmer, your boy, he retired to Jose Ramirez and then Franmil Reyes, and he ended the 6th inning. So what's he doing? He's not the closer. Michael Fulmer, not the closer.
He's not the closer. I told you.
He's not a starter.
They want him to be a starter.
Why?
End of story. Go.
Okay, when you have stats like him, it just doesn't make a lot of sense why any team would want him as the starter.
It's sometimes the stats lie. They see him throwing a 94-mile-an-hour slider.
And
they see what he's got.
That's
they
a
know
closer.
He's come back from an injury. Sometimes it takes a little while, but they see something in this guy. That's the key to
as a closer.
scouting.
As a closer. They don't see anything as a starting pitcher because he spent years in the major leagues trying to be a starting pitcher, and he did not ever do good.
He did good, then he got hurt.
He throws his velocity is up. That's true, but you think he could do that for 5 innings?
Yes.
I don't think so, Leonard.
Go ahead.
So I told you Wilson Ramos got picked up after they fired him, and then he went and hit a home run off of Gregory Soto. But anyway, Jonathan Schoop and Eric Haas, we talked about them. Schoop, he's going to be a $15 million man. I don't want you chewing and sucking on things while you're on the air, okay?
Okay.
What are you doing?
Taking my medication.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do that. Bobby Bradley. Do you know who that is? Bobby Bradley? Not in the lineup.
Good looking first baseman. Gotta
Well,
stop
he wasn't in
striking
the
out.
lineup. On Friday, he left the game in the fifth inning. Then he did not play yesterday because he has a left knee bruise. So they're actually going to monitor him until deciding what they're going to do. If he's not in the lineup today, I would assume he's going to the injured list. Jake Rogers, Tigers catcher, he's not going to be activated before September 1st. So he's not even cleared to do any kind of throwing, and he's not that good. So get rid of him. The Astros beat the Minnesota Twins 4-0. Yordan Alvarez, he got his 50th home run yesterday of his career. That's the quickest of any Astros. I think that's the quickest of any Astros, right?
Will anybody ever draft Miguel Sano again? In any league, any round,
No.
will anybody ever draft Miguel
Yes.
Sano?
In NFBC league, when you get 50 rounds and you don't do anything with it after that, he will go.
Okay.
Deep leagues, I will pick him up in the late rounds for sure, but I'm not drafting him in a normal league. Why would you? Miguel
That's what
Sano.
I'm saying. You
I wonder
should.
whatever happened. He was in trouble. Remember, he was like in trouble for for harassing a reporter at one
Oh, is
point.
that right? Yeah, I know. Michael Pineda pitched 6 innings and gave up only 2 earned runs.
7 hits.
Surprised he's still on Minnesota.
Alvarez, 184th career game. That was faster to 50 home runs than any player in Astros franchise history. He passed Lance Berkman, who was there, by the way, yesterday because they were getting some kind of, I don't know, Hall of Fame, Astros Hall of Fame. But guess what? For the Minnesota Twins, it's Byron Buxton. He's expected to begin participating in pregame workouts with the team on Monday. That's tomorrow. And Baldelli says that they should know more about when he might return sometime next week. So he's getting ready to come back. I love that.
Kendall Graveman came in the 8th inning. Presley came in the 9th. You should know that.
Why would I think that it would be anything else besides that? Because
Just,
Graveman's been good this year, right?
Yep, that's right. Next.
I told you about Luis Garcia. He should not be benched. Alex Bregman, he went 1 for 3 with 2 walks on Friday in his 6th rehab game at AAA. So there's no timetable for his return. So don't get too excited. He is, though, hitting in games, and that means that he should be back. He's been out since June 16th. So he can come back anytime now. Hello. All right. Moving on.
Thank you.
The A's at Texas. Oakland's on fire, too. Don't count the Oakland A's out. That's how I feel. Don't count them out.
Okay. Well,
they have
you're
a
right.
better chance of making the playoffs than the American League East teams. No?
No. I didn't hear what you said.
They have a better chance of making the wild card than the teams in the East.
Well, yeah, Oakland's got a good team, man. I don't see this kid Irvin pitched another nice game yesterday.
Yeah,
he went 7 innings. He's got an ERA of 3.4. Harrison hit a home run he comes in, sits on the bench, comes in, plays second and third, gets 3 hits, batting .290, 360 on base percentage with a 7th home run. Unbelievable. And how about your boy Adolis Garcia hit his 24th home run?
Yeah, I'm over him. I already moved on from him. I know he's hit a home run and he drove in 3, but that's the first. He drove in 3 runs yesterday. He drove in 3 runs in the last 30 days. That's what he's done. So I mean, it's it's a love hate there. But Yan Gomes is having a good season, and Josh Harrison. We didn't really talk about him earlier, but definitely going to get playing time now. With look at Marte is like going to save this team. He is the
28
savior.
stolen base for Marte, 28 steals. How about that?
They got Marte, and that could save their whole season, man. That was probably the smartest move that anybody made, even though they had no idea that Laureano was going to go out. But anyway, Matt Chapman.
Maybe they did.
Maybe they did. Maybe they knew he was doing drugs in the bathroom, but weren't going to say anything, right?
Maybe they did. Maybe they've been investigating and they knew about it.
No, I'm just making up shit, so please don't.
Go ahead. Next.
Anyways. Okay, all 8 of Cole Irvin's wins this year have come when the A's scored 3 or more runs, and he actually pitched how many innings yesterday? 6 innings?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, because it says that he only allowed 1 hit over his final 6 innings, so he must have pitched longer than 6 innings yesterday. What's the box score say?
The box score says he pitched. I'll get that in a second. The box score says Irvin actually pitched 7 innings, as I reported before.
Oh, I didn't hear you, so I'm not really listening to you.
Of course
Okay.
you're not.
You're very annoying. You're
Okay.
lucky that I put you back off mute. Okay. Anyway, so James Caprielian, we have him in the chat room today. Nice to see you, James. We saw him earlier. He came to visit us. He's going to come off the injured list today. He's going to pitch today's game against Texas, the finale. So he's been out since July 28th, but he's been rather good too. It seems like the rookies this year are youngsters, pitchers. I mean, they're pitchers. They're not coming from the hitting side so much.
Right.
We have a couple more games. 10 minutes to do it, so let's get going. You're taking so long. I wish you would quit taking so long.
All right.
Whitey Herzog was
Talk
at
a
the
little
game.
less then. All right.
Kansas City at St. Louis. Whitey Herzog was there. That's pretty good, right?
Cool. Yeah, good.
He's 89. Second oldest living Hall of Famer. 6 months younger than Willie Mays, 90 years old.
Okay.
Brad Keller, he's the best.
Arenado hit another home run. You know, Arenado's not having a terrible year. He's batting about 260.
Yes.
Hitting home runs. He still hit his 22nd home run. That may not be great. He'll wind up with possibly 30 home runs. Paul DeJong. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's very great. It's better than what you thought it was going to be. And you have to give me credit. I argued with you and Steve Gardner over Arenado. Neither of you liked him. You thought he was going to be horrible when he leaves Colorado. He's too good of a player to be horrible. So, all right. I know you're being annoyed at me.
Well, no, Paul DeJong, he got 2 hits to put him over the 200 batting average.
Yeah, he sucks. He's a piece of junk, but he's
not having a good year. And this kid, Olivares, he's batting 5th in the Kansas City lineup. Looks like he's going to get some playing time hitting 245.
He does. And so where does Kyle Farmer play? Because he's the guy with the most points on the Tout Wars available list.
Kyle Farmer, first of all, he's not on either one of these teams.
Okay? I know. I just brought him up because he's right ahead of Olivares for the number of points that he's gotten it. Anyway, this Kyle Farmer cat, he plays first, second, shortstop, and third base.
Let's go back to the Cincinnati game.
And he doesn't just play those. He actually qualifies at all of those positions in fantasy this year because he's played all of those positions a good amount of times. He has like 4 home runs or 5 home runs in the last 2 weeks. Look at his stats. He's absolutely – I bring him up not because he's on these teams, but because he is a waiver wire target this week. Okay?
Okay, good.
Okay. Who are we talking about? The Dodgers and the –
anybody you want. You're in charge. You're running the
Salvador, show. Let's go back to Kansas City real quick so I can give you an update real quick on just real quick on the Royals catcher Salvi Perez.
Yes.
He was back in the lineup. He was scratched on Friday, but he pretty much plays in every game, so he's one of the few catchers. Jack Flaherty allowed 3 runs over 4 innings in a rehab with AA. So it's safe to consider Jack Flaherty probable to be activated in time for the team's next series in Pittsburgh. There you go with that.
We talked about Reyes before.
Yeah.
Gallegos got the save yesterday. Does that mean anything?
Well, I think that it means that they are going to probably try to let Giovanni Gallegos get some saves going forward just to keep Reyes fresh. He pitched on Friday night. It only took him 9 pitches to get the save, but then on Saturday night, they let Gallegos get the save. So I do think going forward that Reyes is not going to get all the save opportunities in for this team. Okay.
Okay. We got 2 more games. Go ahead.
2 more games. Dodgers and the Angels. What do they try to call this? A Subway Series, but it's a fake Subway Series because the real Subway Series is here. It's the New York Mets against the New York Yankees.
That's right.
I don't think they even have a Subway in Los Angeles, to be honest with you.
I don't know. Joey Adele went 1 for 3. Brandon Marsh went 0 for 4. Neither one of them really showing very much.
Why do you have crushes on these 2 guys? They were not the highlight of the game at all.
No, they're not, but they're the highlight of the box score. Everybody loves them. They got a lot of publicity talked about. So far, they haven't produced.
So there was a tie in the 8th inning, and then Chris Taylor, clutch, comes up and breaks the tie with the 2-run double. It was a huge win because the Dodgers lost on Friday to the Angels in extra innings, and they've really been having a problem trying to come back and win games after that. When they get behind late in the game, they don't ever come back. It was the 7th time in 35 games that they've rallied to win when trailing after 6 innings. So Bellinger, fine. Bellinger hit a home run. What do you say to people? If you have Bellinger, you have to keep putting him in there, right? Because you just have to hope that he'll do something. And he did hit a home run yesterday, but this guy is just a big problem.
Every trade you make is about the player you're getting in return, not necessarily the player you traded away.
Okay, is that an answer to a question in the chat room? Because that
No.
had nothing to do with what I'm saying.
Okay, go
You
ahead.
just came up with that out of nowhere with the trade.
Rizzo, Captain 15 says Rizzo has COVID.
Oh no. I'm sorry. Everybody talks about what team is it now that's dealing with the COVID? All I know is the Yankees have got the shittiest end of the stick, dude, with the COVID. The very first team to get the breakout cases was the Yankees. All of their players were vaccinated. They're all doing the right thing, right? They're doing what they think is best for the team. Everybody gets vaccinated, and 9 of them get COVID. That was the first breakout cases that we saw. And we thought, well, maybe it's that J&J vaccine because, that's pretty odd. They all had that. Maybe it's the batch or something. But the Yankees have been hit with the COVID more than any team in baseball, without question.
And of course, the primary reason that we canceled our journey around the country is because of the COVID. I mean, we just, why take chances? I don't want to run scared, but still, I try to be smart, and that's pretty much why we canceled our trip.
Yeah, I mean, we know that we could do these things next year, so that's if it was like, I don't know, you have to weigh your options really, and I'm getting to the point. I don't know. I'm fed up with COVID. Everybody's fed up with COVID. It's not just me. Everybody's sick and tired of it.
Everybody is, but you still got to pay attention and try not to get it. That's all.
Of course you do. And we've gone this far, right, Leonard? Neither of us have gotten COVID, and we've been very careful and good.
Well,
You haven't left the house in a year. Now you do leave the house, but not.
But you still have to be smart. Okay, Chicago and Chicago.
So Chicago, and what is this? The Cubbies and the White
It's
Sox?
the Cubbies and the White Sox, unless you have another team from Chicago.
The Dodgers and the Angels.
We did that game.
Oh, we did? All right. Well,
you talk about me not listening to
Julio
you.
Urias.
How about you listening to you?
Who do you think leads the league in wins?
I forget.
Julio Urias leads.
Oh,
well, maybe he doesn't now. He was actually he was the first to 10 wins. I know that. He was going last night for his 14th win, which would be league leading. So he did pitch 5 innings, 3 runs, only 2 of them were earned. Okay, 3 walks and 5 strikeouts. That's not a great outing for him. Where's Gonsolin? They really need Gonsolin to be pitching, and he must be hurt or something. I don't know. He's having a bad year. Moving on.
Yeah,
that's the last game. That was my last game that I have. So
okay, for the White Sox, Abreu just keeps rolling along, hits another home run, and Carlos Rodon, he just he gets his 9th win, struck out 11, give up no earned runs and 5 hits.
Oh, yes, I have them.
Unbelievable for Rodon. And for the Cubs, Alzolay, everybody says he's going to be good next year.
No, he's horrible.
Okay. Well, he's not horrible.
Yes, he is.
He's just not good. Okay.
Well,
and who batted third for the Cubs yesterday? David Bote.
Your mama.
David Bote batted third.
And Ian Happ batted 4th, right? Because that's what they have right now. Ian Happ.
That's right. Wisdom batted 4th.
The Cubbies, look, the White Sox have nothing to worry about. There's no possible way. They could literally sit out the rest of the season, and they will still win the American League Central.
Okay, let's say
the Cubbies, on the other hand, are horrible. They have lost 3 straight. They've lost 5 of 6. They're like 2-8. They're just, they traded away all their good players. Okay. Can you imagine the clubhouse vibe going on for the Cubbies right now?
I'm your producer saying 30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds. So get off of my show. Get
Okay,
off.
Captain 15, thanks for being here. Daniel Ferrara.
Rowan Wick.
Boyle's coming up at 1 o'clock. Eddie has
Douglas.
been here from start to finish. James Caprion, good morning. Thank you. Jeremy Gibbs. Jeff Trello, great job hanging in the chat room. Malpal, of course.
Yay,
the
Malpal. And
Yeah.
Tina. And Tina, too.
Penelope Caprion, thank you for being here. Robert G, been here for most of the show. Chris Gallo was
I thought
here.
you said that the chat
Tony
room was empty.
Sincato was here.
Bye.
We had a lot of people in the chat room this morning, and we thank you all.
Goodbye, Leonard.
And goodbye for me. You want to
Goodbye.
stay on?
I just
Go
want to
get
say,
'em.
yeah, I want to just finish this couple things about the game, the White Sox and the Cubbies. Okay, Luis Robert, he's getting ready to come back. He was actually scheduled to play a full 9 innings yesterday for AAA Charlotte, and he could be activated sometime in the next matchup against Minnesota. So, like LaRussa was bragging, saying that he hit a bomb 1,000 feet the other day, and we can expect him to be back soon. That's really pretty exciting for people that have been waiting for him all year. And Yasmani Grandal did base running. I could say that, I think that obviously the White Sox are going to win that division, and they have there's nobody even close to them. So this idea that Robert's going to be rushed back or Grandal is going to be rushed back is probably not a good way to think, because they're going to want to keep him healthy more than anything for the playoffs. That's all I got to say. Alzolay is horrible. He's got 2 starts coming up, I think. He's not somebody to put anywhere near your team, though. And that's it. Living legend. That's Lenny. Lenny's a living legend. Right, Leonard?
Right.
On that note, everybody have a great day.